The second round of the playoffs is here, so it's time to wake up, NBA! Welcome to Wake Up NBA, presented by State Farm, and great news. If you like close, exciting NBA playoff finishes, they'll happen eventually.
Rare. They're like precious diamonds. They're very hard to find. This has just been a blowout-filled NBA playoffs so far. Through the games we've had so far, which is all of the first round, and as of right now, two second-round games. 14 games have been decided by at least 20 points. For reference, in all of last year's playoffs, 12 of those games across the whole thing.
And we're barely denting the second round right now.
We're barely denting the second round. And let's start with maybe the most uncomfortable question.
Okay.
Is this cool?
So, on one end, no, it's not. Because if you tune into a game in the start of the fourth quarter and it's a 27-point game, you're like, well, let's see what's on Bravo or ESPN2.
Now I have no excuse for why I didn't do the laundry.
Exactly. You have to do actual life things. On the other hand, it's tantalizing to see what would happen in the next round.
Right.
You know, maybe a healthy Steph against San Antonio. Right. Cleveland against, I don't know who else might actually be good in the Eastern Conference, but I don't know. But
Miami has the potential to do that.
They do have the potential with a more balanced game.
Right.
But yes, the only saving grace is, okay, so Golden State and San Antonio will be fun. And we've known that since November.
Now, I hear what you're saying, and it makes sense to me, but I want to talk about this great new book I just read.
Exclusive.
Dr. Kawhi Leonard, Love Your Kids, Spank Your Foes.
There it is.
Just a wonderful piece of literature. What it's about is, you grew up in the...
And he's generally such a quiet guy for him to write a book.
I know. Well, he has the time to do these things because he's not out there doing
between
commercials.
Between the first and second round,
like you grew up in the 80s, early 90s.
Yep.
Spanking was kind of a thing for kids back then. It was in that moment where there was a lot of public debate as to whether this was appropriate, whether this was good for kids. What Dr. Kawhi has learned in his research is that no, corporal punishment doesn't do anything for children. It doesn't teach them Take that energy, put it into just throttling your opponents, because that is a best case scenario.
Right.
I mean, either you just sweep a team like the Thunder, get them out of the way, nobody has to think about them anymore, or hopefully, if you're listening, Oklahoma City, they learn from this and they come back hungrier, they fight harder, they don't foul every three-point shooter San Antonio sends behind the arc.
Yeah.
They learn from their mistakes, but it's only because you put that spanking on them.
I think
that's an industry term.
The big thing that Oklahoma City can learn, that they have done well in weirdly uneven playoffs for them, if they can hit the offensive glass, that might be their best plan defensively to get second chance points against San Antonio. San Antonio is, efficiency-wise, they are historically great on offense, historically great on defense, and their effective field goal percentage in game one was like 66%.
I was going to say, they can't hit the defensive glass because San Antonio's not missing shots.
There's not a team in the galaxy, Warriors, Monstars, whatever, that is going to beat the Spurs if they're playing like this.
Cool. So stick around and watch the rest of that series.
Yay!
So let's talk about the second round.
Yeah.
From the perspective of, we saw these blowouts in the first round, San Antonio comes out and just throttles Oklahoma City to start. Are we going to see more of that in the second round? Which of these, let's start with the West.
Sure.
Golden State handles Portland in game one. Is that going to be the story of the series going forward? What's going to happen?
So at least in that series, there's nothing to love about Portland, and what Klay Thompson was able to do in game one should give Golden State fans confidence that they'll be able to maintain whatever the gap is without Steph pretty nicely. He shoots like you and I shake hands. Like, it's that automatic. Or he's like, I'm just going to release, this is what I do, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Right, and they're still spreading the ball around. They're still playing great defense. They're defending shots really, really well. The thing that they have to be concerned about is the thing that got them a loss against Portland during the regular season, is that Super Dame exists. Just in the way that, like, in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, there's regular Bald Bull, and there's regular Piston Honda, but then there's Super Bald Bull and Super Piston Honda. So, yes, Dame is so dangerous as is, but yes, and it's very difficult. So if he goes off for 40, 50 points and the rest of the team is playing well around him, they're going to take a game or two. That's what they need, though. Short of that, they're not winning games.
Are they... now, some people are saying Steph Curry could be back as soon as game 3. Does that make sense? Should they, if they look good in game 2, should they just be like, nah, we're just gonna have you, heal up a little more, get a little more comfortable, and maybe we're only going to play you 20 minutes in this game, something like that.
I think it's fair. If he's ready to go in game 3, to a certain extent, they're probably going to play him just so he gets his legs back under him and just can test the knee a little bit. But no, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But how do you tell the MVP to stay on the bench?
That's fair.
It's very difficult.
That's fair.
Yes.
Let's look at the top seed in the Eastern Conference
What do you have?
half. Of all those blowouts we had in round 1, Cleveland was not responsible for any of them. They only entered the fourth quarter in that Detroit series with a double-digit lead once. You can spin that both ways. You can spin that as, the negative is Cleveland lets teams hang around. They shouldn't be there. You can spin it as it doesn't matter if it's a close game in the fourth quarter. Cleveland gets the job done. Whichever take you want, here, there they are.
Yes.
Everything is for you, the internet. The other thing they're doing that's really interesting so far is they lead all playoff teams in percentage of their shots that are three-pointers. And right now, they are second in three-point percentage.
Thanks, J.R. Smith.
So if they can keep that up,
Yeah.
that makes them such a dangerous team pretty much for the rest of the playoffs.
And it covers some of their defensive deficiencies.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that series, too, is Atlanta plays fast basketball, and Cleveland plays very deliberately. So there is that pace push and pull.
There's that sort of clash of styles.
So that might get us some closer games.
Atlanta was 0 of 3 in this matchup head-to-head in the regular season. I think one of the X factors has to be Al Horford. He had some miserable games in that Boston series where he disappeared, where he wasn't shooting well. He at least got them rebounds, but this is a team that, because they don't have the consistent, this guy's going to go out and get you 30 points, they need him to consistently go out, be efficient on the offensive side of the floor. Otherwise, it might be a very quick series for Cleveland.
Yeah, it could be, and this is where the Hawks would have loved to have DeMarre Carroll to win and to score in various ways. And in the other series, of course, Miami... I don't know what you're getting from Miami from game to game.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, they had 3 games in the last series where they went below 90. They had 3 games where they went over 100. Twice they shot over 57%. Twice they shot below 40%. So, they are the biggest roller coaster ride in the Eastern Conference right now.
It feels like it'll be a close series, too. Both teams played Game 7, so they're both coming into it a little bit tired. And both teams play similarly in that they are winning in various ways, and no one team is playing all that faster than the other team or doing anything all that much better than the other team.
Yeah, I mean, for the Raptors, I think if you have one area of concern right now, you went 1-2 against Indiana on the road. And those 2 losses were duds. They have to play better on the road if they want this to be a series that they can control, especially because you saw at home in Game 7, with the advantage of some whistles, we're not going to say how many, they still didn't look great.
No, and Kyle Lowry especially has been ice cold. Since that injury in March, he has been ice cold, and he's their go-to guy.
What happened to global warming? We thought it was real. Kyle Lowry proves it isn't.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Thank you very much for that.
And then let's just finish up talking about the Spurs Thunder series. Any other...
I mean, if the Thunder are going to take this series, it's going to be on the backs of Russ and KD being extraordinarily athletic and overcoming any defensive and coaching deficiencies that the Thunder have. And while it's fun to watch and could certainly win them a game, I think it's going to be over pretty quickly.
Maybe this is like some sort of weird homage to James Harden.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to play shit defense.
Yeah.
And we're going to get bounced
miss you
really quickly. We understand who you are. We wish you were here.
Yeah. And with that, we now turn to our correspondents, Roger and Seth, for some, I think, pretty valuable life lessons.
Actually, Seth isn't here today. You see, he'd been watching the Rockets Warriors series, and he saw how embarrassing it was for the Rockets to keep getting blown out by the Warriors. And because I've been so much better than him and better prepared and more talented, he decided not to show up. He wrote a note. Hi, this is Seth. It's just been extremely embarrassing having to work with
taking a dump. Ready to go? Let's film.
I was just reading the note about how you're not showing up because you're embarrassed to be with someone so much better than you.
There's nothing on this piece of paper. I did not write a note.
Could you please leave?
No. Why would I? No.
All right, thanks, guys. And that was harsh. That was
fair.
harsh.
It was fair, though.
I didn't say it wasn't fair.
Okay, yeah.
But it was harsh.
This is what the NBA playoffs are about this year. Harsh, but fair.
Yes, fair enough. Thank you for watching Wake Up NBA, presented by State Farm. We'll see you next week.